Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how you can use melody to write a nice sounding chord progression. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, the technique that we're looking at today is really simple, and it's the idea of writing a chord progression starting from melody rather than functional harmony, or a series of rules where we say things like the 5 chord must go to the 1 chord, and so on. So for this technique, all we're going to do is form a very simple melody on the upper structure of the guitar. And then what we're going to do is we're going to treat each one of these melody notes as the upper structure in a series of chord voicings that we're going to form beneath each of the melody notes. In other words, once we've created the melody, we're going to harmonize it by stacking notes beneath it. So let me demonstrate. And first things first, we want to pick a key to write in, and we want to be very aware of the key that we're playing in so that we have a good sense of the chords that we can use and also the type of shapes that we can use. In this case, we're going to play in C major. Next up, we want to write the melody, and it's best if you can do this on a single string, preferably the G string, the B string, or the high E string. So here's an example of a melody that we're going to work with, and I just want to mention that I'm not attaching any specific rhythm to this. We're just going to focus on the notes. And this one's on the G string, and we've got the notes C, D, G, E, D, and E, which has a nice little pentatonic sound. So next up, we want to harmonize each one of these notes by forming a chord beneath them. And as a quick side note, I just want to say that you can think of this technique too as being like a thickened line technique. So all we're doing is thickening this line with chords. Anyways, when it comes to the chord, you can experiment with any shape as long as the highest note is your melody note. So for the first chord, we had C as the melody note, and we can try these shapes. Perhaps an A minor 7 chord, G7 sus4, or maybe a C major 7 over E, or C over E chord, or even a root position C chord, and finally a D minor 7 chord. So for me, I think I like this D minor 7 chord here. And as a quick side note, if you can treat your melody note as the 3rd or the 7th of whatever chord you're going to form, that usually is going to sound really good. So think of that as a quick and easy trick that you can use. Anyways, let's try harmonizing the melody using 7th chord shell voicings. And once again, the melody sounded like this. So with 7th chords, once again, sounds pretty good to me. Anyways, before we move on, I want to give your ears another example of this. So here are a couple of versions of the melody harmonized by some different chord shapes. And first up, we're going to start with some first inversion triads. Once again. Or I could try harmonizing the melody with some more random chord shapes here, like. Or perhaps even all sus chords. Okay, before I wrap up, I want to show you guys one more example of this, but this time we're going to put the melody on the B string here, and we're going to have it be a variation or development on the first idea. Alright, if you recall, our first melody was like this. And for our second melody, we're going to do something like this. Alright, so now we've got a 6-note sequence, and what we want to do is form a new chord progression which elaborates on that first set of sounds that we had before. So for this melody, let's apply the exact same technique. We're going to treat each note in the melody as the upper structure in a series of chord voicings. So for the first note in the melody, we have the note E, and we can harmonize it with these shapes, say D minor 9, or F major 7, or C major 7 here. So I like this one here. And for the next note, we had this G here, and we can just kind of sequence this shape up like that. And for the last note, we had that one here. So I think I like these 3 chords, and these will work to harmonize the entire thing. So we could try this. So now that we have a new chord progression, we can actually combine it with the original. So let's do exactly that, starting with the first. New one. And the original. So for the second chord progression, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. It's just a variation on the first idea, which is a little thicker, and the melody has progressed a little bit. And if I want to continue writing this idea, adding more chords and adding more melody, then I can just continue to use the techniques that we've talked about today. And if I do that, that'll definitely lead to something that's more fleshed out and longer. Okay, yeah, so that's all I have to say on this technique today. I hope you guys give it a go. I really recommend that you guys use it, as it's easy, and it really leads to some nice and natural chord playing. Alright folks, so there you have it. If you like this video, then please make sure to like, share, and subscribe as I put out a new video every single week. And if you want to support the channel, then please consider checking out my Patreon page, where for as little as $1 a month, you guys will have access to some bonus content like guitar tabs, lesson notes, chord diagrams, and other little goodies like that. And honestly, the Patreon page really helps me out as it allows me to get some extra equipment to make these videos better. And finally, I also teach guitar lessons through Skype. There's a link to my email address in the description below. Yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.